stepping out there.
Sorry. Sorry.
How's the soccer team doing?
Down 1-0.
Huh?
We're down 1.
Wow.
They
half.
scored a 16th minute goal. Yeah, halftime.
Okay.
Did you watch the Kentucky game?
Today? Yeah, I watched it. I missed a few possessions, but we got it on tape and watched it. Buffalo obviously played great the first half, but the second half, that was a beat down the second half, and certainly their defense was terrific.
What are your raw thoughts on Kentucky?
Well, they're extremely talented, just like a lot like they were in 2012 or 11 and 12. They're so long, so big, and they can all move, and they switch a lot of screens, and their big guys are for the most part very, very agile and active. So they're good. They got all the pieces to have a great team, obviously, but certainly, we're going to have to be smart. We're going to have to attack pressure. We're going to have to do a lot of things. But on the flip side, hopefully we'll be sound enough that we can create some problems for them too.
Both the players we talked to, the first thing that came out of their mouths was how great Kentucky Crabtree's board, particularly the offense.
Yeah, I think so. They run good stuff, but I think their best offense may be when the ball's in the air. And we've got to do a much better job of rebounding the ball. We haven't rebounded it very. I don't want to say we rebounded poorly, but we're not near as good as what we need to rebound it. And our rotation rebounding has to be excellent because they do force help a lot. And, if you can just, take care of the ball and eliminate transition, eliminate second shots, don't give up dunks, things like that, you've got a chance to probably play decent. But that's a pretty tall task. But I know our guys are very, very excited about it.
But what are some of the hallmarks of a Calipari coach team? What are the things you see maybe over and over again with them?
Well, we only played them just a few times, but I would say, his teams are always pretty good defensively. Even that Memphis team was, they ran good stuff, but they were better on the defensive end, just like our team was too that year. But I'd say obviously talented, and then they play hard. And he's done a good job. John and his staff have done a great job getting a whole bunch of guys that are highly touted that may not be in school for a long period of time to really share the ball and play unselfishly too.
Did they use the platoons today?
Yes, yeah, they used sub-5 at a time. It kind of got a little out of whack because Towns got 4 fouls early, so they kind of did a little bit different because of foul problems. But yeah, he platooned them, and he started the white platoon. You don't want to say second team because it's not a second team. They're starting 2 first teams, but the white team started the second half, I think, because they played better the first half.
What do you think of Coach Brown's comments about the team possibly going undefeated?
That's Coach Brown being Coach Brown. So.
When you describe the traits of Calipari's teams, it sounded kind of like other coaches describing the traits of your team.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not a complicated deal. You recruit the best players you can, you get them to play really, really hard, you get them to like each other, and you get them to play unselfish and tough. And, he's obviously, I shouldn't say just his staff, has obviously done a really, really good job with that, just like our staff, for the most part, has done a good job with that. So, but you get really talented guys that like each other and play unselfish and play really hard, you got a chance to be pretty good.
But when they won it a couple of years ago with that young group, did that change people's mind in college basketball a little bit about what you could do with a young freshman team?
You know what? I think that was the exception and not the rule. That was a young group, but they started very, very young. But they had a couple of Miller was really a good player, and even though Jones and Lamb were just sophomores, they were beyond their years. I mean, they had some experience, but it was still a really, really young team. And of course, this year they're really, really young again. But they've also got guys that are more experienced. Kids today in college ball, entering the freshmen, they've experienced so many more things, whether it's been USA basketball, whether it's been the AAU circuit, playing against quality competition. So it's so different than what it used to be. It's not their first dose of competition whenever they get to school. So, the Harrison twins, even though they're young, look at all the things they've done, and then they play all the way to the championship game last year. So, I think the landscape for college basketball has been changed forever, not by that team. in 2012. It's been changed because the best players are never going to make it to their junior or senior year. And so obviously the people that recruit the best, early on, and Kentucky's done that better than anybody else, you'll always be talking about how young they are. But that's the nature of the business. You're not going to have very many teams like we had in 08 or like North Carolina had in 5 or 9 or anything like that, because most of those guys will all be gone by the time they finish their sophomore year.
You guys usually go after a lot of the same kids in recruiting, but there's not a ton of kids on this Kentucky team the Harrison twins unofficially visited, I think, but I don't know if anybody else did. Do you find that odd that they have so much talent and really you guys didn't go head to head on some of those?
No, I don't find that odd at all. But there's a lot of good players out there, but if you look at who we're recruiting and who they're recruiting this year, there's a lot of carryover. But just because we're both recruiting them doesn't mean one of us is going to get them. They can still go somewhere else. We try to recruit the guys that we feel like could give us the best chance, but also we have a great shot to get. But we've gone head to head with Kentucky numerous times, and we won a couple and lost a few, and that stuff. But that's going to always be the nature of the business. Just like we're going to recruit against Duke, we're going to recruit against Carolina, we're going to recruit against some UCLA, we'll recruit against Texas. So there's a lot of people that we'll recruit against, but it seems like there's been more of the Kentucky-Kansas crossover than maybe there has been any other school, at least with us.
Vontae played great on Friday. How do you think he and the rest of the young guys are going to do transitioning from the first few games here to a big game in the national spotlight on Tuesday?
I don't know. I'm excited to see that, but he was good on Friday. He kind of bailed us out. We didn't have anything going, so I was real pleased with him. But I don't know how we'll respond. Last year we took a bunch of young kids up there too, and Perry was great, and Frank was great, and Wiggs was great, and Joe and Wayne were solid. A bunch of young kids on the big stage for the first time. So it'll be curious to see how we respond to this. But certainly there'll be a different feel in the building than what there's been so far.
Just as close as it gets to an NCAA tournament kind of environment, with it being kind of a neutral floor.
Yeah, it won't be that neutral, I don't think, but since Lexington, I think, is only a couple hours away, if that. But that's okay. We need to play in tough environments. But it will be, the NCAA tournament, you guys have been there. Until you get to the Sweet 16, the feel is a little bit different. Sweet 16, you just got 4 teams in that one building. The first couple of first round games, you've got 8 teams that are playing that first day or whatnot. So it has a different feel to it totally than what this will be. This will be a better environment than an NCAA tournament game until you get to at least a Sweet 16, excuse me.
Obviously, it's only November, but watching the two winning against all-time programs go against each other is always fun, I feel like.
Yeah, well, it doesn't happen that often. And I guess it'd happen if we ever play them again. Usually when we play, we got a chance to be 1 and 2. I don't know. I think I don't know how many we're ahead of Kentucky, but I think North Carolina, excuse me. But I think Kentucky's got us by a few. I don't know what it is, 20 or so, but maybe more. But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Their program is so tradition rich. It's the bluest of the blue bloods, and ours is right there with them. They basically got a big part of their program from the University of Kansas, obviously, with Coach Rupp. Having played here for Dr. Allen, but it'll be fun. A lot of history there. I don't think the kids today think about that too much. I think they're just worried about playing guys they got to know on the AAU circuit, and then playing for pride as much as anything else.
Are you going to game plan against both platoons?
Well, you know what? It's this isn't like a football game. It's not like a football game that you're playing in early September that you have to win. This is one game, and even though obviously we want to win desperately, just like they do, and it does mean more. Although people say it does mean more than normal games. But I don't think you change how you want to play just for this one game. And then go back to how you play for other games. We have a style. We're going to play our style. We believe in our style, and we'll try to tweak and game plan. But and there may be some things we can do different against different personnel. But I'm more, I'm not really as hung up on that as what I would be if this was February or March.
Did you watch the game differently? Did you have a notepad out?
That wouldn't be differently. That would be
Oh.
the same way I watch all the games. So
You never just sit back and watch?
well, I guess if it doesn't mean anything, I do. But no, if we're scouting the team, I always take notes on what's going on.
Wayne played a little bit of point already this season. Do you think that's going to come into play going against the Twins on Tuesday?
I don't know. I guess foul problems could dictate that, but I don't see that being a huge factor. So.
Bill, did you see Cauley Stein much when he was coming out of
A little bit, yeah. I saw Willie some. I saw him in the summers, but his high school team was in the same league with Free State, so saw those games. He's gotten so much better. He's made tremendous improvement. He's so athletic and so active, and it's recruiting's an inexact science. Would we have loved to have had him? Absolutely, no question. Of course, we got him. We wouldn't have got JoJo either. So that's kind of how recruiting works out. And that's how it plays. But I think he's a terrific prospect and probably a lottery pick.
How many lottery picks do they have? 10?
No, can't have 10 lottery picks unless they are 10 of the 14 best players in the world.
Oh, they all come out.
Yeah, they all came out this year, so I don't think anybody would ever have that.
Yeah.
But they got multiple lottery picks, so absolutely.
All right, Coach.